What's good, people? It's your boy Joe Black, Mr. Millionaire, and you're watching the Celebration Chair.
You gave your honor, take a seat. Let's celebrate, it's time to speak. How you spent 10,000 hours. Now come and get your flowers. It's a celebration. And you're the guest of honor. It's a celebration. Now come and get your flowers.
What's happening, people? I go by the name of Jazzie Zonzolo, and today on the Celebration Chair. Now listen, when we talk about real rap, when we talk about foundation, when we talk about North London legend, you can't have that conversation without mentioning today's guest. This man had the streets in a chokehold before streaming numbers even mattered. A true storyteller, a certified lyricist, and one of the coldest. From dropping classic projects like Millionaire to shutting down the scene, he's always kept it authentic. No gimmicks, just straight bars. But Joe Black ain't just a rap legend. He's taken his talents from the booth to the pitch, making serious moves in football, coaching and scouting, proving that evolution is key. And let's not forget his influence on UK rap. It's undeniable. If you know, you know. If you don't, you better do your homework, boy. Today, we're giving this man his flowers. So make some noise for the one and only Joe Black! Yes, sir. What's happening, bro?
Oh, I respect, man.
What you saying, man?
That was a legendary introduction, man.
No.
I appreciate it.
Come on, bro, man. It's a pleasure having you here. You know, it took us a little while, but we're here now, man.
Come on, man.
You know, so I just want to kick it off straight away. Like I said, like we've met a few times, innit? Or have we actually? I can't remember if we've actually.
I think we've met, but like we haven't really
chopped it up
properly. Yeah, do you know what I'm saying? But obviously we've crossed paths numerous times. I think,
So that was one of the reasons I was like, yo, we need to get you on here, man, and just to kind of like hear your story, you know. Yeah. One of the things I love to do every time we start the show is just to kind of like find out how your childhood was. Like, how was Joe Black as a kid? Man, I think I was grew up in Islington, obviously, North London, very multicultural. Middle sibling. I got an older brother and a younger sister. My dad he was in my life, but him and my mum weren't together after like the early years. But my mum's brother, my uncle, was like the father figure in my house, and it was just football, really, man. Football I was obsessed with football, playing football, watching football. Showing my age a bit here, but it was more like Football Italia on Channel 4. Yeah, Channel 4, come on.
Yeah, in the 90s.
Go Lazio! Hey, come on.
Exactly that. Yeah, man, I think obviously you could have had more, but I didn't feel like I had a bad childhood. I think I was pretty blessed, to be fair. Yeah.
And how do you think that not having your dad around as much affected you?
Not too much at the time, because, like I said, I had a relationship with him, so he wasn't too far. He just wasn't with my mum, and he wasn't in the house day to day. But I don't think it's the same as kids who grew up without a father. I wouldn't say I grew up without my dad. Like he was present in my life, just not there day to day.
Mm-hmm. And when was the first time that music came about for you?
Youth clubs, really. Going to youth clubs, adventure playgrounds. House and Garage was my introduction. So like Heartless Crew. There was a youth worker who used to be a DJ on a pirate radio station in my area, Freak FM. And I started off as a listener, really, as a listener of music, recording Heartless Crew, and then there was decks at the youth club. We started mimicking Heartless Crew, then started writing our own lyrics and little discos and dances. We'd be performing and.
Oh, you saying you was actually performing in the discos and that?
Yeah.
Okay, well, as a group.
Just like, we used to have our own little, like, I forgot what we used to call
What's
ourselves.
the name, brother? Tell me the name.
We had bare different names. I think the first one was like MBB, Men Behaving Badly. It was based off the TV show.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then Gambino Family, because I think I started taking an interest in Mafia.
Yeah, the
and all
Mafia
that,
films,
and,
yeah.
yeah, and Godfather and all
Yeah.
that, all the rest of that jazz. But even like there was a talent show, and there was a time where they done a talent show. It was kind of like Stars in Their Eyes, and I'll never forget this. I'll never forget this. I borrowed my mum's sunglasses, school shirts, trousers, and I done Mark Morrison, Return of the Mac.
Okay, okay.
So I was there, like, so it was a mixture, innit?
Yeah.
R&B, I think Bad Boy at the time, like Mace and Biggie, Mace, Craig Mack and that. But it was a lot of it was me. I didn't write my original lyrics till about maybe 14, 15.
14, 15,
Yeah,
that's where it really
yeah,
came
yeah,
in.
yeah.
Do you remember your first bar?
Yeah, because I remembered what made me transition from like house and garage and R&B into rap. It was Mobb Deep, Murder Music.
Okay.
That was the album that made me say, you know what, rap's where it's at.
Yeah.
And I remember Quiet Storm, writing my first bars to Quiet Storm.
Yeah.
And they actually, for the first bars I wrote, are my first mixtape. Like,
Oh, for real?
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
documented. Yeah, it's all there, documented. Pedal Bike Diaries, which was my first mixtape.
Yeah.
And
that was like at how old? Like 14, 15?
I wrote the lyrics when I was like, I would say 15, maybe 16, and the mixtape dropped when I was like 17.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay. So, do you remember your first bars or was you still? I know you were saying you was mimicking, but when you was like in the house and garage days,
Yeah.
was that like just mimicking, or did you have like
No,
your
yeah,
own?
I had loads of little garage bars.
Yeah,
But I
you
remember
got,
it was-
bro. You got to give us a little
Ah,
garage bar,
listen,
brother,
listen,
man.
listen,
you
listen.
got, bro. Come on, man. You got to give us
I can't
exclusive.
remember them. I can't remember them. I'd have to go into the archives. I can't remember.
Was you like insider?
Kind of like, but it was like, you know, I don't know, like Heartless Crew, there was like, obviously DJ Fonty was a DJ, he used to MC a bit as well, but he was the DJ, and then Mighty Mo and Bushkin were like two different type of MCs,
Yeah.
where Bushkin was more on that vibe, like vibes, like rave type, and Mighty Mo was a bit more lyrical with it, in my opinion. So Mighty Mo influenced me heavily, and I think sometimes my first garage lyrics were a bit wordy, if that makes sense. Like trying to fit too much words into the bar and that. But yeah, maybe one day. But not today. Nah, can't.
North London produced some serious talent, and you were one of the first names that had the streets on lock. What was that moment like when you realised people were really listening to you?
It was a bit of a shock, to be fair, because it was that MySpace that made me realise how far my music had got. Really, like I'm getting messages from MySpace from north of England, Scotland, and I'm thinking, how do they know who I am? Like I kind of missed the Channel U era where I didn't really have music on Channel U or MTV Base. My thing was more like word of mouth, Bluetooth. You know, like used to send tracks Bluetooth back in the day.
Yeah.
So I was pleasantly shocked that it reached as far as it reached. I think credit's got to go to my cousin. I think he put a lot of work in pressing up CDs and finding independent distributors, and yeah, I just think it was a shock. Sometimes today, even I get like the different type of people that approach me. I think like what,
Yeah, like how?
Yeah, like how? Like what's the fascination with my music? But yeah, man, it's all appreciated.
Let me ask you this, yeah. Do you remember the first time, you heard one of your tunes being played in the ends, and you just thought, "Rah, okay, this is my lane."
In the ends, I think because I was kind of like because I was kind of popular before the music.
Yeah.
It weren't really as much, but out the ends, so like going places like South London and. Yeah, I remember the first time. I think it might have been Catford.
Okay, so it was deep in South.
Yeah, and someone was playing my music, and it almost got a bit
Weird.
Weird because obviously I'm looking at the guy, and the guy's looking at me. Remember, these times people have heard me, but they
Yeah.
haven't seen me. So he's probably looking at me like, who's this guy looking at? And I'm looking at him like,
How did you get
where
the
did you
music?
get? Where are you playing that from?
Yeah.
Like, and it was a weird conversation because it's like I had to spend like a couple minutes convincing him that I was
you.
even Joe Black. Yeah, he said, you're not Joe Black.
Yeah.
But I think because I kind of sound, when I talk, I kind of sound the way I rap.
Yeah.
After a while, he's thinking, you know what, it does sound like
sound,
him.
yeah.
And yeah, the first few years, it was me. I spent convincing people that I'm Joe Black. And they're saying to me like, imagine someone saying to you like, you're not Jazzie.
Yeah.
Spit some of Jazzie's bars.
Yeah.
Then. You're telling me to spit my own bars. So yeah, but
You're mad popular already on ends. The music now is starting to get out there. At this point now, are you thinking to yourself like, music is where I'm going? This is it. I'm dropping everything for music. Or are you still half-hearted?
No, you know what it is? I think it's a mixture of both really, because I was still heavily following the American scene. I used to just say stuff like, yeah, I'm gonna blow and I'm gonna sign £1 million. You're not knowing the mechanics and how things work, innit? Someone comes to sign me and they don't offer me less than $1 million. I ain't signing nowhere. Like, and there was no strategy. There was the goal, and I think the talent was there, but I think the infrastructure and maybe not just me individually, maybe like the whole scene, it wasn't what it is today, and I don't think there was much planning behind it. I just thought talent was going to carry me
all the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Was there a reason why you didn't drop videos? Because there's not really like a lot of videos of you in regards to like music vids.
Do you know what it is? Like, I enjoy making music. Like, I'll sit in the studio all day in, day out, making music. But I'm not really a camera guy. I'm not really like, sometimes I find it, no disrespect to no one else, but I find it sometimes cringy, like being in front of the camera and rapping and like even like stuff like this, stuff that I've like kind of worked on and thought, you know what, it's part of the process, and
it's coming out of your show as well.
And it's people might not see it, but when I go back and look at my old music, and I can see how uncomfortable I am watching I can see that how uncomfortable I am on the videos and that. But I've never really been the fame part has never really interested me, if that makes sense. Like, I just make music and appreciate anyone that listens to it, and if I didn't have to make videos, I probably would never have made a video. I could still kind of just go through and do whatever I'm doing on a day-to-day.
If you could have it your way, if you could have it your way now, how would you have kind of like operated your career? So this is like in a way where basically you don't need to drop no videos. Like, how would you have maneuvered?
I probably would have put out one project, and then I probably would have went behind the scenes, you know.
Oh, okay.
And probably tried to start like a management company or a label, and people like the people from my ends, like the Benny Bankses and Squeaks, would probably try to more focus on their careers. People who actually wanted to be rappers, and probably would have done it behind the scenes, really. Yeah.
Would you say that music like just happened for you then? Like, because if you wasn't really like, you seem like a type of person that is kind of like, like not whatever in regards to music, but it just kind of was just like a hobby, and then it kind of just ended up being something that just kind of worked out.
Yeah, kind of. I think it was a bit more than a hobby. I think it was something I enjoyed and something I was passionate about, making the music. So even from youth clubs and adventure playgrounds, I was making music, and even up to today I'll still make music. But I think for me it's like all the stuff after the recording, like the marketing, the promo, that's when I lose interest. I don't really have an interest in that side of it. So Yeah, I've never looked at it as a business.
Okay.
I've never looked at it as a source of income. Maybe like following like the early days, thinking, yeah, I'm gonna sign for £1 million deal and whatever. But after that, it's always like I do it because I want to and not because I have to. When I feel like I have to do it, which there was a little period where it was like business orientated, and I think that was, in my opinion, some of the worst music I've brought out. Really,
Okay.
I don't think there was nothing behind it. It was
Okay.
like just generic music, and yeah, for me that's never what I got into music for.
It's at the time where you had like management or
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, exactly. Hit
So-
the nail on the head.
What songs did you feel like was not your cup of tea at the time?
At that time we met like. So before I say this, big up the people that was behind helping me make the mixtape, because obviously a lot of people put a lot of work into it. But there's a mixtape called King of the Underground 2, and I think that was very much, it was kind of like, that's when I had management and it was trying to get a publishing deal and strategies and meetings and rollouts and all the other jargon. And once I kind of wrote the lyrics and recorded, I kind of lost interest. So even with that project, there's not that many visuals for it. There's not that many videos for it, because and from a business point of view, I think for them it was kind of like not the greatest business strategy, where someone's not really keen on shooting videos and doing interviews and press runs and all this stuff. But even the music, I listened to it, and obviously music's subjective. Some people think it's good music, but because I know my state of mind at the time, it's not one of my greatest piece of works, in my opinion.
Okay, so it leads me to your piece of work that everybody else really appreciates, and that's Really In There. You know what I mean? Everyone loves that, bro. You know what I mean? Actually, you know what? Round of applause for Really In There, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I know you don't like it.
No, I appreciate it.
You know what I'm saying? But you gotta get the love, bro.
Yeah.
You know, like that was a classic. Yeah. Did you expect it to hit the way it hit?
Not the way it hit, but I think the concept behind it for me was kind of, obviously there was at the time there was this rumblings of this hashtag Team UK and all this stuff.
I remember that. Yeah.
And I kind of went into the studio and I had the concept Millionaire, rich in realness, and if truth was a currency, I'll be a millionaire and all that. And then I made a mixtape and I scrapped it. So I had a whole mixtape that I didn't put out. And I said, you know what I want to do is get all the artists that I personally rate and reach out to them and get them on there. And that's what Millionaire ended up being.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a collaboration project. I don't have that many solo tracks on it. And most of the people that at the time I appreciated as artists, and it didn't matter how big they was. This is like 2011, and I got Young Tef's on there.
Yeah. Shout out
Who
Young
was just
Tef.
starting his career at the time. Other artists, I don't want to name
of course,
everyone and miss out people, but it was basically people who I rated, and it fitted with the concept with Millionaire, where I'm just doing what I want to do and keeping it real to myself. And I remember there was a website called UK Rap Music. This is when like streaming was in its early days, and we broke the record of downloads in a day. And I remember
crazy,
sitting in the
yeah,
studio
yeah.
and I'm thinking, right, the numbers are going up. And yeah, it was a shock, because I didn't know how much people messed with my music. I knew obviously I knew I was talented, and I think with the collaborations and it would hit different ends, but the amount of people that downloaded it in one day
Was a madness.
It was a madness, yeah. It was a madness.
You mentioned Team UK. What was actually, because I remember that time, around that time, like everyone was screaming Team UK. What was that actually all about?
I don't know what it was like in facts, but from my point of view, I just think it was a group of artists that were kind of in the mainstream, and I think there was a lot of nepotism involved, and they kind of kept their little bubble tight, and yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
And it was like the word on the street was, if you're not in Team UK, you're never gonna go mainstream. You're never gonna get the certain opportunities that they get. Which when I get a bit older now, I know it's like it's a bit of a fallacy, because I'm a firm believer in you get out what you put in. So, but I think that was a lot of people's stumbling blocks. Well, I'm not in Team UK, and they're not looking out for me. They're only looking out for each other, and it became kind of an urban myth.
And then you was kind of like on some vibe of like, right, you don't care, like I'm gonna do me.
Yeah, I was like, I got my own Team UK. I got my exactly. I got my own Team UK, and for me, it was like, if you're talented, that's the only requirement. You don't need to have a certain amount of following or be co-signed by this person or that person. My thing was strictly based on talent. If I thought he was good, and if the vibe was right. So
you came in at a time where basically it was kind of like early days with the UK rap, and obviously we've spoken off camera and stuff like that. But one of the things that I've always really wanted to ask you is that, do you feel like you got the credit that you deserved as a rapper?
Yeah, good question. I think me personally, I get when other people have the perception that I didn't, but me personally, I feel like I feel the love everywhere I go. When I see people, I feel the love, and I don't feel underappreciated. Maybe by like certain parts of the industry, and I don't even think it's love. I think sometimes, I don't know if it's through their own fault, but I feel like history tries to get rewritten, and they have different starting points to what the actual truth was. But I feel the love, man, and again, I feel like I got what I put in, I got out of it.
Okay.
I remember, like we was discussing, I've never put out an album. So I don't think it's like, I've put out an album and people didn't appreciate it. Everything I've put out has been like mixtapes, free for people to listen, free to download, and I feel like I feel like I've overachieved with the reach I've got based on the effort I've put in. So like I appreciate, like, obviously Colt come out and said he feels like I didn't get my flowers, but I feel like I did. And I got hay fever, so I don't like flowers anyway. I'm not really a flowers man anyway, but I feel the love, me personally.
If you had to do it all again, as a rapper, would you do it exactly how you did it? No, sorry. That was such a good question. Round of applause for me, man. Serious.
You caught me off guard there. I feel like I'm going to contradict myself now and say, you know what, I'll change a few. No, you know what? Let me think about it. Would I do it all again? I think I would. I think maybe 80% I'll do the same.
Okay.
And I think 20% I wouldn't. And maybe, because I think first early days, I think my cousin, like I said, he had a lot of foresight, and I don't think we was on the same wavelength, and I think he got frustrated after a while, and he said, you know what, let me go and do other stuff. And knowing what I know now, I would have stuck with him and put more trust into him, whereas, because he's someone who, not to say I didn't trust him, but again, all this watching Americans and trying to be self-made and self-sufficient, because he was my cousin, I think if I could do it again, I would have just created the music and then let him do what he does best, and know my strengths and know my weaknesses. So
do you feel like at the time you was trying to control everything?
100%, million percent, because I'm a pretty independent person anyway, and music taught me sometimes, just because you see it, an artist, a rapper, actor, whatever, there's a whole team behind them, and the brand is the brand, and you're just the face of the brand. But the people that are behind the scenes are just as important.
100%.
Sometimes even more important,
important,
to what's going on. So yeah, that's I think that's one of the main lessons I learned.
Looking back at your music career, what's the moment that stands out most for you?
Early in my career, I was an opening act for Rick Ross. He performed at Shepherd's Bush.
Sick, I didn't know.
Yeah, this is like, I'd say 2008. So
Was this I'm a Boss time?
But you know the song with T-Pain?
What was that
Teflon
one?
Don, that album.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, Boss and...
But regardless, like it's
Yeah,
Rick Ross,
yeah.
do you know
Because
what I'm
remember,
saying?
I
That's
think,
big,
and I
yeah.
think that was like another eye opener, because that weren't an opportunity that I went looking for.
That just come.
It just came, yeah.
Yeah, that's sick.
Like,
That's
and
proper.
again, the same cousin I'm talking about, because he was kind of doing the distribution, and we used to press up the CDs ourselves. I don't know if you remember Ruthless Records.
Yeah. Come on.
So we used to go and get a deal with Ruthless Records, press up 1,000 CDs or whatever, and then go to the shops ourselves. And that's when the opportunity came, a shop in Stratford, and one of the promoters in Stratford Rex.
Stratford Rex.
Yeah,
and
and then,
yeah.
And then Shepherd's Bush. And then fun fact, following that, we was meant to do the Dipset concert the same year.
Oh,
And that's when they got into that little
madness.
bit of the pickle. Yeah, that was all in the same year.
Okay.
So that show got cancelled, and then I think for me it's that the highlights is seeing the success of people like Benny Banks and Squeaks, because I think I don't want to take nothing away from their talent or whatever, but I think coming from the same area that I'm from and kind of picking up kind of from where I left off, and kind of Banks went and done mad things.
Yeah.
Like I went on tour with him. He done a UK tour, and his film and his song ended up in films Fast and Furious and all that, and he kind of took it to another level. And I think just from like a kind of bigger bro perspective, it was like something that I was like, yeah, man, yeah, I'm glad to have been a part of it.
Yeah. No, that's proper nice, man. The music game ain't easy. What was the biggest challenge you think you faced on your come up?
I think kind of living up to the image. I think he's got better now, but at the time there was like a stereotypical image of a rapper, and I didn't really fit that. I wasn't from like a gang infested area, like wearing jewels and living the high life kind of thing. I was literally someone that liked music, liked football, and just done what I liked.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that times it was kind of like that's how they judged the authenticity. Well, where's he from? And
Yeah.
who's that?
Yeah.
Who's
Did you feel like you had to
behind him?
kind of like play a character in a way?
No, because I think if you go back and listen to my music, for one, like I rarely swear in my music.
Yeah.
And my music was more about trying to get money. It wasn't really about anything else.
Yeah.
Obviously there was different sides of the law where I was trying to get money, but that's all it was about. And I think that was kind of a gift and a curse, because I think that's what drew people to me, like, because it was different to what you're hearing. And then maybe for some people it's like, well, he hasn't been co-signed by a well-known area, or he's not a gang, or he hasn't got beef with these people, and he hasn't really lived a quote-unquote street life. So yeah, I think that might have been the biggest challenges. And then, like I said before, just all that other stuff, like the promo, the marketing, the videos and shooting and all that stuff. That's stuff that I kind of had to drag myself up to do, really.
You stepped away from music at one point. What was the decision behind it?
Football's always been a part of my life. I thought I was going to be a footballer, as everyone does when they're young. And then by chance I met one of my friends, and he told me about like some coaching courses. I got into the coaching course, caught the bug, and then I've been doing it ever since. I've been doing it ever since. I've re-found my love of football, and started coaching local team. That turned into building my own grassroots club.
That's it.
And then that turned into getting opportunities to work in the professional game, and then here we are today.
And I know you was talking about being a footballer. Where did you play? Because you know everyone says that they're footballers and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, was you like a real baller, or was you just?
Yeah, no. You know what it is? it depends on what level we're talking.
Okay.
Because I was never good enough to make it pro.
Okay.
But I was a good grassroots player.
Okay. You didn't get in. You don't use that excuse of I was injured.
No, there's no excuse. I just wasn't good enough.
Okay.
I got friends that went and played at a high level. I weren't good enough, and two, I weren't disciplined enough.
Yeah.
It kind of goes back to the music thing where I just love playing football, but all the other stuff, training, maybe diet, discipline, sleeping at the right time, that stuff weren't. I just put a ball in front of me and I could play.
What position was you playing?
You know what's weird? I started off as a striker.
And you started
As
going
the
back.
older I got, the further back I went.
Do you know what? That's like me as well. You know, I used to be a striker, and then I ended up going left because I'm left-footed. So
Same
I was like,
here.
"Are you
left-footed
left-footed?"
too.
Come on.
100% same here.
And then I ended up being all the way to left back.
See, I went from striker to left mid.
Yeah.
I was probably the tallest left winger ever.
Yeah.
And then left wing. For my school, I ended up playing left back sometimes, and then ended up as a centre back or holding midfielder. Yeah.
Okay, that's sick.
Yeah.
Did you ever like have any trials with any like big teams at the time?
Not really. I went to like a development centre. There was before Wimbledon, before they changed to AFC Wimbledon. Again, showing my age. Wimbledon had an East London development centre, and I used to go with my one of my brethren. He was talented, and I ended up getting involved. Like I think they saw me and said, "Yeah, try." And then because I was left-footed, I think I was there for a while. But again, I couldn't like. Even if I did get opportunities, I probably wouldn't even have took them serious.
Yeah.
One of my coaches for my grassroots team, he was like a Arsenal scout at the time. This is when we was in Highbury Stadium, and we used to do sessions in the side of the stadium. It used to be a JVC centre, like indoor Astro place. But I used to just go there and like, I just wanted the football at my feet. That's all it was. I didn't have no idea of what's going on, and it was crazy. But nothing official now.
That's crazy. Also, as well, you mentioned Wimbledon. I used to play for AFC Wimbledon as well.
Is it?
Yeah. I used to play for AFC Wimbledon, and kind of same story as you, bro. I just ended up like I started to lose the passion, man. Like, and on top of it as well, I just felt like as I got older, I just weren't good enough no more. So it was like it was time to go. You know
but you see now, like today, lefties is like
this
prime
is what
real
I'm
estate,
saying.
man.
Yeah,
You got a left
like,
foot, you
I
got
was
more of a
really,
chance.
I was actually like really good. I was actually really good, and then it's just because, like, as you get to around 15, 16, if you don't get picked from there, you're just, you want to go out, you want to, you know what I'm saying? It's a bit of a madness. If you had to give advice to the younger generation coming up in the game, what would it be?
What, in the music game or just in general?
Just in general.
Try and figure out your pathway as soon as possible. That's what I think. I think your younger years, just try anything you feel to try. But like you said, I think that 14 to 18 are pivotal years in kids' life, and I think with hindsight, I might have just zoned in on something and focused fully on that, and because I think that sets you up for life those years.
I agree. So now we have a new chapter with football coaching and scouting. Yeah, a lot of people might not know this, but obviously you're making serious moves in football. So how did that all start? Because to go from a rapper and then all of a sudden go to coaching, I feel like personally it's kind of unheard of as well, because it's kind of like the type of rapper that you was. Do you know what I mean? So why the move?
Again, like through the coaching course, I started local with a team, and then through that I started my own team, which turned into a club. And like I think my thing always with music, my thing is always finding and giving opportunities to others. And it was kind of by accident. We was in like a London Cup match against a team, Lambeth Tigers. They're well known, like they're a big club, like doing their thing. And we went down. No, they came to us. They came to our pitch, and we won the game. But there happened to be a Crystal Palace guy with them.
Oh,
who today he's cool. He's like he's someone who I would say is kind of like a mentor figure to me. And I think the team we built was good, but I didn't know how good they was.
Yeah.
And I think he must have thought like, who are these guys and where are they getting these players from? And like, I'm saying to him, this team, we built this team by accident. I've had these boys since they were 7, and like we've kind of just been coaching them based on, there was like no coaching, like we done level 1 coaching badge, but it's kind of like based on how I think football should be played, and we just happened to keep this team together, and that was my first opportunity. I started doing a bit of coaching at Crystal Palace Development Centre, and a bit of scouting for them in North London. They signed one of our players. The scout that kind of put me on, he moved. He went to Manchester City.
Okay.
He got the big move.
You got a big boy.
Yeah, he moved.
Big contract.
And then he was my only contact at Crystal Palace, so I just went back to coaching.
Yeah.
And I didn't have no other contact for Crystal Palace. And then I had a kid, this is like 2 years later, I had a kid that was playing for me, and like there was something about this kid. And I'm saying, there's something about this kid. I'm not like, I was still a bit unsure of my judgment. So I phoned him and I'm saying like, I got this kid, I don't know, man. I just think he's got something. That was that 3 months later, he was at a match, the same kid that was playing for my team, he played in like a league rep match, and the guy was there, so he watched it, he saw the kid, he phoned me, he's like, yeah, this kid's top, like, this kid, like, we want to sign him, we want to take him up to Manchester City or whatever.
Oh wow.
And it's proper mad how the world works, because obviously because it's up north, they had to wait until half term to kind of, because he's still a kid, innit? He's still 30-year-old guy in school. So, and this is why I rate the guy, because he's putting the kid first. So he's thinking, where can we place him until we can bring him up at half time? So he phoned a few of his contacts. Arsenal said no, Tottenham said no, and then he messaged me one day. He's like, take him to Chelsea. So the whole point was to take him to Chelsea, let him train there. Half term, he goes up to Manchester, and then Manchester have a look at him. So I've took him to Chelsea now. When I've taken him to Chelsea, I'll never forget this day. Remember, these times it's like people that are playing now, Reece James, Tammy Abraham, these times they're like 14.
Yeah.
So I've gone in there, and some of them know me from music. So I've gone in there, the kids trained, but obviously the staff are thinking, who's this? Who am I? They thought I was an agent, innit?
Yeah.
So they're questioning me. I don't know. It was basically an unofficial job interview they're giving me, innit? So they're like, what do you do? And I was like, I just got a little team in North London, and grassroots team, and he plays for me, and we're just trying to coach the kids and all that, like. And then he asked me, like, do you know anyone in your area that would be interested in working for Chelsea? These times I'm thinking, do I know anyone?
It's me, come on now.
Yeah. So I'm there trying to keep it calm, like, I don't mind, I'll do it. And that's how I ended up at Chelsea. And then they signed the kid. Instead of him going to Man City, Chelsea have signed the boy. Yeah, they've signed the boy. And then that's when the proper journey started. Like,
that is crazy. Do you see any similarities between the football world and the music industry?
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
What is it? Like, what are they?
Like, the footballer is the artist.
Yeah.
The agent is the manager. The club is the record label.
Yeah, I see.
Do you get what I'm saying?
That's true. That's true when you put it like that.
Yeah, it's exactly the same. Like, it's just talent, innit? Managing talent, and I think the best people in football have the best foresight. Same with music, innit? If you can kind of have foresight and see, with my input or with this people's input, where can we take this? Because it is all a gamble, innit? Someone signing, a record label signing an artist to like a deal and giving them a big advance. It's a gamble, because they don't know if they're ever going to recoup that money.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's the same with a football club. Investing time and resources into a player, they never know if the player's going to either, because that's the thing with football clubs, what I learnt being in there, there's different ways where you can get success. It's not always a kid going from the academy to the first team. If they can make a profit off the player, it's just as successful. So if we can develop this player that we've got from grassroots and sell him off and make a profit, that's looked at as a success as well.
I never even saw it like that.
This is what I'm saying.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I think it's very similar.
Yeah.
Very similar, and it's on the agency side. It's just as cutthroat. So it's just as, because I've had opportunities to kind of work with agencies or go into agency work, but I just think it's it's
you ain't
too
got the heart to
cutthroat.
that.
Yeah,
that
I
was a
can't.
little bit
Yeah, I
different.
can't get. Yeah, it's just too. It's just the game.
Yeah.
It could get nasty. It can get nasty.
Let me ask you this: if you could scout any rapper to be a baller, who's getting signed to your team?
Good question.
I'm on one today, blood.
Good question. From the rappers I know,
Yeah.
I know Millions is a baller.
Okay.
Louis Ray from West End is a
Oh, yeah?
baller. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Louis Ray's a baller. Young Fumes is a baller.
Yeah. There's a couple of rappers that are just all probably watching this saying, brother, you
Yeah, I
better
know.
say my name.
I know.
'Cause I see the charity matches and stuff like that where certain men are pulling up.
It'll probably be Millions or Louis Ray, you know.
Okay.
That's who,
Out of the two, yeah.
like baller. I think
Yeah.
they're ballers. Like,
Oh, they're
can
ballers.
actually-
yeah. For you
Yeah,
to
they
say
can-
ballers,
they can
they're
actually
not.
play. Yeah, they can actually
Okay.
play. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, cool. We're gonna move into some fun and unique questions. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's the craziest thing that's happened to you in music or football?
The craziest thing that's happened to me in music or football. I don't know if it's that crazy.
Yeah.
I think in music, it's just getting mistaken for people.
Who'd you
Like
get mistaken for?
Like where I work now,
Yeah.
obviously sometimes people mistake me for Stormzy
Oh.
because of where I work.
Yeah.
And football, which I think is a bit disrespectful, and people kind of try and compare me to Sadio Mane.
I don't think you look like it. I don't think you look like
neither
it.
do I. But
Yeah,
people,
yeah.
it's happened more
Is
than
it?
once, more than twice.
Yeah, I don't think you look like him, bro.
I don't know what it is. I don't know.
The Stormzy one, you get me? That I can understand what they're saying, but
Yeah, Sadio Mane, I don't see it either, but I've heard it on more than one, two, three, four, five occasions.
Well, to be honest with you, you don't look like Stormzy, but I
I get the Storms one because it's where I work.
Yeah.
And them
And
just
you're
seeing
tall
the
and, this is what I'm
tall
trying to
dark
say,
skin
straight
guy in an
away.
Adidas jacket.
Yeah,
They're gonna think straight away.
First glance. If you could make a UK rap five-a-side team, who's making the cut? So I'm guessing Millions, Louis Ray. That's 2, 3 more.
Not necessarily. No,
Oh, no, they don't make it.
Don't make the best
Okay.
team.
All
you know?
right,
That's
all right,
what I'm
cool.
saying.
All right. Right, you're cutthroat now, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of team cohesion. So my defenders. Can I put myself in there?
Yeah, 5.
So obviously me, I'll be defender
Yeah.
with who would I put in there? Who's another good? No, you know what? I'll play a diamond formation. So I'll be a lone defender. In the midfield, it'll probably be. Clue.
Oh, Clue, yeah.
Yeah, Clue.
Co-
Clue's
what?
another
Clue,
one.
Clue could kick
Yeah,
ball.
yeah. I've played
Oh,
football
for
with him.
real?
He could definitely
Yeah?
play.
Shout out to Clue, man.
And Merkston, he's not a rap, he's a grime MC, but Merkston's
but still,
a
yeah.
baller. He can ball as well.
Okay, shout out to Merkston as well. What, Merkston, where does he play?
You know what? I think he plays. He can play
anywhere,
anywhere.
yeah?
He
Okay.
might play up front, but I'll put him in the middle. If it's a five-a-side,
Yeah.
I'll put him in the middle. Him and Clue.
Yeah.
And then up front, I'll probably have Santan Dave.
Okay.
Probably have Santan Dave.
Okay.
He's a bit. I know he looks a bit unorthodox when he
Unorthodox,
plays, but he's
yeah?
effective.
Okay.
Yeah. And then in goal, who would I put in goal? Jeez, who would I put in goal?
Yeah, this one I know the man
Yeah,
them are
this
gonna
one's-
start
yeah,
talking.
yeah.
Man them are gonna start talking.
Who would I put in goal?
We might have to do a celebration chair football match.
I'm telling you, because I know this is gonna ruffle.
Yeah, it's
some
gonna
feathers.
it's gonna be a problem.
In goal, I will probably put. I'm gonna go left field. I'm gonna say I'll put Feki in goal.
Feki
you know
in
why?
goal?
Let me explain why.
Is he a
Because
goalkeeper?
I don't think he is. I don't even know if he plays football. But you see, like, I see him doing the farming stuff with his hands and, you know what I'm saying? He's chasing chickens and all that, so he must be able to, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, so
All right.
I'll just say, I can't think of a goalkeeper. I can't think of no one who would want to go goal, so I'd say Fecky, yeah.
So that's Fecky, you, Merkston,
Clue.
Santander. Okay, that's the five.
Santander.
That's the five. All right, it's gonna be mad when this comes out, boy. All right. What's the one track from your catalogue that you think is underrated?
I think it's a song called Path I Chose. Funny enough, it's on King of the Underground too. The album I said is my least favourite. But it's like a biographical song, and it was probably the only song on that project that kind of had something. Meaning to me. Yeah, and I had Bluey Robinson singing the chorus. Bluey Robinson,
old school, yeah.
I just like the vibe of it because I still like the vibe of contrasting my rap lyrics with like a singer and the chorus, and yeah, I think it's one of my favourite songs.
Yeah.
And, we shot a video but never released it.
Yeah.
Again,
yeah.
When I looked at it, I wasn't happy with the outcome. But yeah, that's definitely, I think, one of the most underrated songs.
You've been in both music and football. Who has the biggest egos, rappers or footballers?
If we're talking as a whole, I would still say for me rappers. I still say for rappers, yeah. Because I think sometimes rappers have an ego where, in my opinion, they have no right to. Whereas footballers, I think it's understandable if they're...
There's a lot of work, not to say that rappers ain't working, but there's a lot of like sacrifice and...
Yeah, but I think even like how they're received, like, you know, like playing in front of thousands of people every week, I think it would be difficult. Not difficult, but it would be easy to have an ego. But I think with rappers sometimes, I just think the ego is a bit premature. Yeah, exactly.
If you had to describe yourself in 3 words, what would they be?
Bloody hell. I don't know, you know.
Yeah.
I don't think...
Give us one.
One, I'd say... Jeez, this is putting me on the spot.
No, don't worry, bro. This is going to get edited anyway, so... That one's you, innit, Colin?
I would say misunderstood, you know. Misunderstood.
Oh, okay, misunderstood, yeah.
Yeah.
And why is that?
Because I think sometimes the perception of a rapper is like... They expect a rapper to be a certain way. And I think a lot of the time I don't fit into that narrative. Like, see, sometimes I'm walking... We go in places and people will be like, "What, what are you doing here on your own?" And I'm thinking, like, what do you mean? I'm going to buy a pair of trainers or... And I think the reputation the reputation's bigger than the person I actually am. So maybe misunderstood might be a wrong. I don't know if it's a wrong term, but yeah. And I think that I'm into different things. Like I said, I'm teaching now, and I think a lot of people, they think, Joe Black teaching? How? Like,
no, but it's good though, bro. I think it's a good narrative to push, like, you know what I mean? I feel like you're being yourself. I feel like you're not, you know, that's a passion that you like, you know what I'm saying? So, bro, I respect that. So what's next for you, man?
I'm into football now, man. So I'm at the stage where I'm super blessed. I think football's got me traveling now. So I'm like, I've been back and forth from Qatar with the people I'm working with, opportunity to go to America to coach, and I think the next chapter of my life is kind of teaching and tutoring side, because obviously I'm teaching, but I'm kind of learning on the job. I'm kind of doing a qualification as we speak, and I think many different avenues, just trying to see if I can provide opportunities for myself and others to kind of go. And I think I want to try and do things that the conventional norm, you know, like I think music and even football is kind of, in my experience with the young kids that I'm around, it's like they see they're the avenues, they're probably the only avenues, the only ways
like
out,
so many,
and when there's so many
more,
and even football, the course I'm doing, it's like, okay, you want to be in football, you don't have to be a footballer, there's so many jobs within football, so many roles within football that you can get involved in, and just kind of showing them that the world's bigger than just what you see in front of the camera. Behind even music, there's
loads of jobs.
Loads of jobs, not just artists, like, and media. And
there's marketing. There's so many things that you can do outside of it, for sure. Is there anyone you'd like to give their flowers to today?
What, like music-wise, or?
Yeah, music-wise.
I need to think of one though, because there's bare people that I could name, but let me think of someone in particular
that deserves their flowers.
Do you know what? I've done it before, and I'll do it again, because I think this person doesn't get their flowers. And I think some of it is down to them, the way they conduct themselves at times. But I'm gonna say Mike GLC.
Okay.
Do you know why I'm gonna say Mike GLC? Because if I'm being real, I think he is a pioneer, and I think the history that's trying to get rewritten, they're trying to write him out of it. And I think even like rapping in an English accent, rapping about the streets, maybe not in such a glamorous way or braggadocious way. I think he's very much a pioneer and a trendsetter.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that. Man. I agree with that. Shout out to Mike GLC, man.
Yeah, 100.
We're celebrating your legacy today. What's one thing you want people to remember about your contribution to music and the culture?
You're hitting me with these these crazy questions, you know. One thing I want people to remember.
Yeah. What do you want people to remember Joe Black, man?
I think just being. I think the name Millionaire is that's what I want people to remember me by. But what I mean by Millionaire is living your truth, whatever that is. Like Millionaire, obviously it's a spin-off Millionaire and all that. And the currency I deal with is realness. Truth is the currency in it. So just living your truth and not don't bend or fold to try and fit into somewhere where you know you don't really belong. Don't let nothing stop you. Like, you don't have to be a certain way to be a rapper. You don't have to come from a certain background to be a footballer. If you want something and you work hard at it, you reap what you sow. So.
Listen, Joe Black, man, it's been a pleasure having you on the celebration chair, man. Seriously, bro. I appreciate it, man. And before you go, bro, we'd like to do this thing where, you know, we like to give our guest a little gift.
Oh,
yeah. We got a little gift right now, you know what I'm saying? So
is the camera rolling? Can I just say something? Because I said it off camera, but I know we spoke about it slightly off camera, but one day you have to get your flowers. But that's a story for another day.
For real. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it, my brother. Listen, the man them know that you like kicks and all of that. So we got you a little special thing here, El Vardy.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Representing and all of that. So we just wanted to just say from the celebration chair, my bro, we had to give you the flowers. We love everything that you're doing right now.
Come on,
and we wish you the best, seriously, man.
I appreciate it, man.
Come on, brother, man. All day, every day, man. Listen, that was Joe Black. It's Jazzie Zonzolo. We're going to see you on the other side, the celebration chair. Make sure you click, like, subscribe, do all of that. You already know. This is the first time I'm saying this, and I'm going to keep on saying it every single show now, bro. You get me? So if you like and subscribe and all of that type of stuff, it helps us get into the algorithm. I just saw all the influencers doing that. I'm doing that now as well. You get me? Yeah? All right. Shabba the Naya. Shabba! My dog.